Let's keep reading through this commentary. This is Carm still speaking. Some replacement theologians would teach that any mention of Israel after Acts chapter 2, that is Pentecost, would be referring to the Christian church. But as they say, the above scripture cannot be used to support that idea, right? If we go back and read the Romans passage carefully and give it its full weight, how could Paul be talking about Israel being replaced by the church if in that passage he talks about Israel being restored to glory after God removes her blindness and cleanses her of her filth? Why would he bring her back into the picture if she's been replaced? I mean, if she's out, then she's out, right? So, of course, I know the dispensations are going to step in and go, but it's the era of Israel, and then we move chronologically to the era of the church, and then once the church is moved out of the way, then we move back to the era of, or dispensational is the terms they use, back to the dispensation of Israel and things like that. So in that way they can have their cake and eat it too. Maybe we'll talk about that a little later, but for now I don't want to mention that. All right, Carm continues. In fact, speaking of the passage we just read, it plainly contradicts it, right? Meaning it contradicts the idea that God has given up on Israel. If he gave up on Israel, then why is he interested in removing her blindness, cleansing her of her filth, removing, how did Paul put it? Removing ungodliness from Jacob? Why would God be concerned about that if he's done with Israel, right? If she's out, then why bring her back into the picture? And Carm answers her own question, or the questions I'm asking. Obviously, God is not done with Israel. And of course, again, this explanation could either be a result of a dispensational outlook. I'm not certain if Carm is dispensational or not. I need to go back and look that up. I'll do that for you this week. It's my own homework assignment, and we'll talk about it next week. Or if Carm takes the approach that I take, where dispensationalism has its own flaws. And I use a theology known as engrafting theology, fulfillment theology. That one also has too much resemblance to replacement theology, fulfillment theology. Olive tree theology is what I believe I think that's the term I've stated in the past that I hold to, and I'll explain what that is as we go along, so don't worry if you don't know what it means right now. But Carm continues. The text that we just read about in Romans tells us that God has hardened Israel, but it also tells us that this disheartening hardness is temporary, and we saw that a partial blindness, so the blindness is partial, and it's temporary. So to me, at face value, then it can't be that replacement theology is accurate in all of its forms if the hardening is partial and if it's temporary. And they conclude by saying, this is Carm, replacement theology is also known as supersessionism, which means that the Christian church has superseded Israel in God's plans. So you'll hear it using both labels. The quotes from Carm that I used, if I click on my footnoting, you'll see that I lifted those from their website at carm.org under their questions of the topic replacement theology. And so if you're interested, you can go check out that. You can click, the link itself on my in my commentary here is not hot linked, so you can't click it right over to their site, but go check it out. I think their site's fairly well put together. So, all right, let's see what I'm doing by way of time. Yeah, we've got some more time. Let's go. Let's continue on, and we'll read one more paragraph, and then we'll call it quits. Instead of going like a full 30 minutes for segment one, what I've been doing is like 20 minutes for each segment, and that leaves me 20 minutes to do the liturgy because it's a little more involved these days. So let's go like that.